Afternoon, and you join me today from Cold Knap Point in Barry, the famous Cold Knap Point where that record cod was caught by Brandon Jones at 44 £. I've had a really busy morning and I got a bit of bait left over from yesterday, a bit of rag, bit of crab, bit of frozen, I've refroze, and I've got home about 11:30. I'm doing all my chores in the morning and I thought, let's get out, let's do a bit, because I want to get home by 3 o'clock for my daughter. So I've quickly rushed out. I bought my Tournament Match Pro Mark II just to have a bit of scratch, use the last bit of worm I had from yesterday, and I bought my Grand Prix Pro for the bigger baits. See if we can get lucky in trying to catch a codling, because you never know, there's a few out there. It's not like it used to be in South Wales where there used to be codling everywhere and good sized fish. So I've rushed down here, I've quickly banged on a bit of peeler crab on a pulley and banged it out. You can't cast far here because where I am the rocks are lethal, it is so slippery. It's unbelievable. I'm quite surprised. I can see Friar's Point over to my left and I can't see a single person on there, which is surprising. And then I've just quickly lobbed out a free hooker on the Tournament Match Pro, see if we can scratch out a rockling or a pouting or a little strap just to keep me entertained. And like I say, it's literally just going to be 2 hours. I've put 10 leads in a box. I've got like a dozen rag, half a dozen crab, a little bit of frozen left over from yesterday. Excuse me, I've got a crab escaping. Get back in there. He was going for it then, he was having a runner. So yeah, let's give it a go and see what happens. Where I am, you only get a handful of times on a year where you can fish where I am. It's a really neat tide. The sea's quite flat, but there is a little bit of a swell. I parked down in Cold Knap on the main stretch. There's free parking, it's a 5-minute walk. I would not advise parking on the double yellow lines on the roundabout, because there's a car going around at the moment. There's enforcement from the council and they will get you. You will get a ticket, they will have your money, they want your money. I do not advise parking on the double yellow lines. Like I say, that car is driving around every day continuously. So be sensible and park somewhere. You know, with free parking, double and Knap, 5-minute walk. There's a little rattle then on the pulley, might be something small, so I'll just do the same again. I'm just going to peel a crab, banging on a pulley. Can't cast very far, you can't really swing a lead. You're fishing into about 15 foot of water, 15-18 foot. It is rough. I'm fishing a rotten bottom system, fishing over ledges and coral and weed. And I've caught everything over the years. It's been a great little mark. I've had all rays except for small eyes. I've had blondes, I've had thornies, I've had spotted, I've had hounds, I've had bass, I've had codling, pouting, whiting, rockling. I've had some good eels off here. But you can only fish it when it's calm, and you can only fish it when it's a really small tide. Most people prefer to fish further up the bank on a bigger tide, and you fish for rays up there. You fish on the clean then into the bay. You know, around that side is where Brandon Jones had his codling. Used to be known as Pouting Point. People just call it Pouting Point. You used to get a lot of pouting. You used to get a lot of good flounder as well, just running up the inside of the marginal edges, which runs into the old harbour. So I'm just going to bait this up now and get another one in the water. Get another one ready. Let's see what happens. See if we can get lucky. See if we can catch one of those unicorns everyone's talking about. So I've just got a 3/0 pulley, standard pulley. It's my rigs from yesterday, from fishing Ogmore. It's a different day from yesterday. I wish it was just flat down Ogmore yesterday. It was quite hairy and rough yesterday. I'm glad I left when I did, because if I had hooked anything better I would have struggled to land it. So I was lucky where I was. I was using the swell to land the eels I was using a swell to lift the eels onto a ledge, and then I could grab the leader and drag them up the last 8-10 foot. So that rattle hand come back, so something small's had to go with it and disappeared, or there might be something small on it. But you know, if you want to catch bites or catch fish, get on the rough, because that's where the fish are. You know, I see a lot of people struggling. Fish 6 hours here, didn't have a bite. Fish 6 hours here, didn't have a bite. A lot of the fish are on the rough, because that's where they're living, and that's where the food is. That's where the shrimp is and the crab. You know, and they want a bit of that. They want a bit of juice. They want a bit of gunk. So I stopped into Holden Road earlier, picked up a quick extra crab just to make sure I had enough. So let's give it a go. See if I can have a good spontaneous 2 hours and get a few bites and maybe get a few fish. Let's see what happens. And there's the first victim. I said I had a rattle straight away on that first cast, and I got my lead back as well, so that's a bonus. Took a bit of crab and rag, nice sized rockling, plenty of these around at the moment. Let's get another one in the water. So it's really important to note when you're fishing to match your hook to your bait size. I'm only fishing on a pennel today. I'm fishing a 2.0 and a 3.0, and just fishing a little bit of crab, a little bit of rag. Give yourself the best chance of hooking it by making sure your bait and your hook are comparative to each other. There's no point putting too much bait on a hook or not enough bait on a big hook, because you're just not going to give yourself a fighting chance. There's little things like that can make a difference sometimes between not just getting a bite, because getting a bite's half the battle. After you've got a bite, you then got to hook it, and then you've got to land it. So there's several parts to catching one fish, and the first part is making sure your bait's matched right, your hooks are proud, and hopefully on that bite you'll hook up. The 3 hook hadn't moved, but it's time to change anyway, so I'm going to reel it in and lob another one about 40 yards, see if we can catch some pouting. Right, let's have a look at baiting up that 3 hooker. I'm using my whiting rigs from yesterday. They got 1/0s on, 25 pound hook lengths, 18 inches long. I don't normally fish a 1/0 on the rough on a 3 hooker. I normally fish a size 4 or a 2, but it's what I had going, so we're going to go with it. So just head and tail the sandeel. I'm just going to thread it on the hook. A little bit of elastic, great stuff this, elastic cotton. If you ever run out of it when you're fishing, you realise how important it is. It's always good to have spares of stuff. Tip eyes, elastic cotton, bait scissors. It's only when you haven't got something you realise you need it, and I'd rather have spares of stuff and not need it than need something and not have it. There's a simple bit of sandeel presented on a 1/0. I'm going to mix it up a bit this time. I'm going to put a bit of rag and crab on the second hook, so a little bit of ragworm, thread it on, and then I got, I don't know, maybe a quarter of a crab, so lay that alongside. Lay that alongside and whip that on as well. Don't go nuts on a cotton, you don't need loads. I'm only lobbing this 3-hooker, 40 yards. There we go. A little bit of rag and crab on the second hook, and then on the last hook we just got a little bit of interest on that pulley again. Notice on the 3-hooker, we've got a bit of a rattle on the 3-hooker. Don't know if you can see that. Small rattle on the 3-hooker. We'll let that develop, see what comes of it. Then top hook, just a straight bit of rag. To be honest, there's 3 of my favourite baits there, all on the same rig. Sandeel, crab, ragworm. You know, if I only have 3 baits the rest of my life, it'd probably be those 3. And there we go. On a rotten bottom, just a 5-ounce on a standard rotten bottom link. Nice and safe to cast. So like an 8-inch 10-pound weak link, twisted up so it's out of the way, and that's what's going out next. Let's see if that 3-hooker develops, shall we? See if there's anything on there in a minute. Second cast on the pulley, another rockling on straight crab that time, about the same size as the first one. We're going to mix it up this time. We're going to put a fish bait out there. And I missed 2 rattles on the 3-hooker, so I'm going to put a pulley on the 3-hooker and I've cast it over into the bay, and then now I'm going to put a fish bait further out, see if we can get away from these rockling, because they seem to love the crab at the moment. So let's put a fish bait out. Quick look at a rockling, little 3-bearded, beautiful little fish. Lovely colours, lovely patterns. He's even got his fins up, look. Gonna drop this one back in the water. It's the 5th one I've had this week. There's loads over there at the moment, stacks. Not a bad size, maybe 10 ounces, 10-12 ounces. So, nice fish in a match. Get a nice bag of them together, you're doing alright. Big mouth on him. Hungry fish. Hungry, pleasing fish. Pleasing me. Put a bend in my rod for a second anyway. It's been a bit slow this cast, I haven't had a bite. I suppose I was lucky to have bites on both rods first 2 casts. I fished during the summer last year for hounds and bass and eels, done quite well. It's important to note that we're not the only people that use the sea and the beaches and the water. And last year there was a lot of paddle boarders, a lot of kayakers, and it was fine. I think as long as you're respectful to other people that use our beaches and that, then they're respectful back. And it's important, I think, that anglers and the fishing community work with the public rather than work against them. We're lucky in South Wales, we've got so much on our doorstep. I mean, we've got Friars, Nels, Jackson's Bay, Cold Knap, Porthkerry just to my right, Roos Beach. We've got so much here, we've got so much to utilise, and we're really lucky, we're blessed. And I think as long as we're respectful to the people that use it and the environment, and take your rubbish home and look after it all, then you know, you should have a nice a nice happy day's fishing, and that's what it's about, isn't it? Enjoying yourself, being outside. So I'll give these another 5 minutes, then I'll have a change, put some fresh baits out there. The tide's gone now, it's just coming up to high water, I suppose, half hour before, so we'll see if anything pops up around slack tide, and then we've only got a cast or two left before we've got to shoot home to see my daughter. It's important that you get a balance in life, and I want to be home when she gets home, see how her day's gone in school. I've had my fresh air, I've done my chores this morning, been out, dropped some rods back to Gary Evans, been to a few shops, been to the doctors, picked up a prescription, been down my parents, done something for them. And life's about balance, isn't it? And I got the important things done first. I'm having a couple of hours out, and then I'll have the rest of the evening with my family, which is nice. Then as long as you've got a good balance in life, then everybody's happy, and that's what it's about, isn't it? Making everybody happy, keeping everybody smiling. I think that's what my limit today with that. 90 yards maybe. It'll do. Oh, there we go. Nice bite on the 8 ounce. There we go. Nothing huge. 2.5, maybe 3 pound. Took that rockling I put out on the 8 O's. The delicate bite to start. A few little taps. And then bang. Over she went. And she's nailed that. That's right down. That was a 6-inch bait and it's right down. But still, nice bend, nice little bit of action. I've got another fish bait ready. I think that tide's just turning, just starting to pick up. I'm going to put another fish bait out now. She's nice little eel, safely unhooked. Got those hooks out, importantly. Let's put it back. If she'll let me. We got it. Nice, she gone back. Good news. So the tide's turned now. I've up to an 8 ounce. I've probably only got 1 cast left in me, so I want to get back. Just had a little indication on a Tour Max Pro. Tips bent over nice in the tide. And I'm going to have a look at it. It's gone over a couple of times and given a few indications. I'm going to have a look, see what's on it. Well, you know, it's another rockling, third one. Won't say no to him. Fish is a fish. You can't determine what fish you catch or how big it is, so I'll take everything that comes along. Got stuck a couple of times then coming in. See the tide's turn, it's quite rough and snaggy out there. But not so much pro. Has enough backbone in it. Get out the initial snag, and then I pulled into a bit of a snag halfway in, but the rod was more than enough to drag him out. Drop the lead, which is important. Got a bit of blackened crab going out next. Let's see if that can be the icing on the cake. See if we get that codling. Come on, Mr. Codling, where are you? That's my lot. About to reel in my last cast now. I've had a nice 2 hours. I've had 4 fish. No unicorns. I don't think there's anything hanging on the end of these 2 casts. I haven't seen any movement. But it's been a nice couple of hours out. And to get these in, rush back. Thanks for watching. Hope you've enjoyed it. And I'll see you again. Take care. Tight lines.